Alright. Hey guys, welcome to Camp Race League. So this will be the final part here for kind of the pre-B Martin era within the Lost Seasons series here. So I was going to record this video tomorrow and upload it tomorrow, but I ran into some time after work to make this video tonight here and go over it. So, like I said, this will be the end part pre-B Martin era. However, I will have a fifth part because I do want to go more in depth on the drivers, and I think how I'm going to do it is I'm going to go based on the year they debuted. So, like this first year, 2013, I'll go over those drivers first and kind of go their careers a little bit more. And then, of course, basically go through until 2017, I think, is where I'll cut that off. So, anyway, so we have done the Arby's Cup series, the Road Race series, and the Truck Series seasons, and I have completed all of them. One the last couple days, plus a good chunk of yesterday and Wednesday. I have put together the Cup Series list here, and honestly, it was a little easier than I thought it was going to be. The only thing is with this series, 2014, 15, 16, and 17, I had a chase or a version of the chase in this series, which of course was the classic chase in the series here, and it did kind of change up the points there, and I kind of had to guess who advanced in most of the rounds, and I mean I had results at the end for 2016, fortunately, to look at. But of course, like 2013, I had to guess where people finished points. 2017, I did have to guess too because I never actually went in doing the chase that year. And 22, 23 was basically the results from the CRL era season. Of course, this will be kind of the first video where you'll only see CRL era stuff, which will be the year-long format stuff. And because that's what they're B Martin era, you will notice that there were actually really no year-long format seasons that ran along with B Martin era, except for the first ever season. But however, that season was kind of what killed the year-long format too back in 2017. So everything for the series, for all my series, started back in 2013. This was the first real year where I was actually able to do a lot of racing, and kind of back then too. I didn't really have a great diecast collection. In general, for starters, I would say the only cars I really had was probably this 22 car, Jimmy Johnson 48, probably Dale Jr.'s Mountain Dew 88 car, the Diet Mountain Dew scheme, and I don't think I really had a Casey Kane car. Ambrose didn't get his car yet. Halen, I don't think I got a car yet. So yeah, a lot of these guys didn't really have cars yet. Kyle Busch, I definitely had one. But some of them, basically, this is kind of like the first series where it was like a mixture of like the NASCAR diecast and the little Hot Wheels cars. Because back in 2013, I mean, I was 11 years old and I didn't really get NASCAR cars yet because this was kind of when I was going into liking NASCAR and kind of coming out of liking Monster Jam. Because back then I was into monster trucks when I was little. And of course, when I got to around this age is where I started getting more into the NASCAR racing stuff. And Jimmy Johnson was kind of the driver I chose to be my favorite driver because of this year in 2013. It was the first year I saw him. I kind of liked the Lowe's car, and it kind of stuck from there. I actually think since 2010, because I knew about NASCAR since 2010, and Jimmy was my favorite guy there too. So, yeah, I've known it for a while. So in his first Cup Series season, started with Daytona. I did do the same result as the real life Daytona 500. Jimmy Johnson won that. Phoenix Clint Boyer won. Brett Campbell got Atlanta. The last season is kind of vague or not really easily to remember where people won and why. I know this Auto Club race, this is the first one for one of the drivers that I will go more depth for 2013. Avery Fowler, we've seen her in the Arby's Cup Series wins, of course, the Truck Series. She did start out in this series in the 42 car, and I remember her beating me out in this race here that I went on to win the next week at Bristol. But yeah, so she won this race, and this was basically kind of her first real year in racing. And yeah, she did very good. She was in the chase in this season, her and Lily Adams. Lily Adams won Dover. And literally, I'll go say this, she was basically more known for winning at Dover back then a lot. And then 2016 went winless and disappeared after 2017. But yeah, so basically 2013, like I said, not a lot really remembered from the season, except for probably a lot of the chase, which will be the final races. Actually, I remember this Thunder race doing that one with Truex winning. I remember the battle between, I think it was between me and Mark Truex Jr. for that win. It was a really fun battle back there at Thunder. But yeah, so this season, I did the chase a little weird. I only did 7 races. So Richmond was the cutoff, which was one by Campbell. Kyle Busch won Atlanta just like in real life in that year. See, Avery Fowler did open the chase with the win. And she was actually the only multi-time winner in the chase. However, Caleb Campbell did ultimately win the championship based on the points earned throughout the chase there, even though he also did win Kansas. Yes, I remember the Watkins Glen race in this chase. And I think we ran Watkins Glen twice this year. Weirdly enough, in the old seasons, I ran like Watkins Glen twice, maybe Thunder twice somewhere as well. So yeah, I ran some road courses 2 times on the season instead of just 1 time on the seasons. Um, yeah, 2013 in the first year, Kel Campbell did end up being the champion. I didn't really have a clear idea of who was going to be second in the points from memory, but I feel like because of her winning 2 races, I actually put Avery Fowler as a runner up. Kyle Busch third. He had 4 wins on the year. Jimmy Johnson, I figured he was up there in fourth. Yeah, Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, Lily Adams, Mark Truex Jr., Brett Campbell, and Jeff Gordon are top 10 in the points for him this year. And yeah, only really 19 drivers I had down full time. Back in these years, I really ran like 24 drivers. When we get to like the later seasons, the fields were technically up to about 40 to 43 plus cars. However, I didn't really have good memory of who was where, so I didn't do them all on the roster. I just got added on from roster here. Oh yeah, Joey Logano's on here too, and Kevin Harvick 21 means that I have a 29 car back then. But when we get to 2014, Harvick did move to the 4 car, but it was actually the Kodak diecast I had back then, the old worn out number 4 car. 2014, I think the only really big add-ons was Moontrack 78, Kyle Larson, because at Avery Fowler 42, Kyle Larson, he would be in the 81 car instead. I think because I remember him running as a rookie in 2014 still. Austin Camp, he was actually another person I'll go more depth for in the driver video, but of course the person I brought in back in 2014. And then my cousin Eli Johnson. Eli wanted to be in the series, so I got him the number 99 car. So I ran an orange car for my number 99 and a purple one. For some reason, I had Fastenal like the purple scheme he would use, and the orange one was kind of Orange Crush's sponsor. Of course, he's seen my stream series whenever Eli was in the races. He would be running that 76 Fanta scheme, and that's why, because he ran an orange car back in 2014, his rookie year. So in 2014, something else that's actually a story I talked about before back in 2014. The first 2 weeks of the year were actually missed in this season because at my house in real life, there was actually a flood that went through my room because of a pipe bursting. And basically my floor was messed up to where I had to get new carpet. So I never really got to do any racing for the first 2 weeks of the year. So the Daytona 500 this year was canceled. And I'm pretty sure Phoenix was canceled, although there are still 35 races on season. Because for some reason, when I went back and did all the winners on this list, I somehow did not put Indianapolis on here, and Caleb Campbell did win Indianapolis in this year. But yeah, so Atlanta was the opener. I remember doing this race at my grandmother's house, actually. Jimmy Johnson beat out Kyle Busch in this race. It was actually Jimmy versus Kyle for the win. The Auto Club Race 4, Madison Yates, she actually got a big win here. She ran 2013, but went winless, so this was actually a big kind of drought-ending race for her. I remember doing this Texas race with Brett Campbell, but it's funny enough, that same car, I think I talked about Onyx Munoz winning a championship in. It was actually that same car I used for the number 3 that Brett Campbell won here in Texas with the same car type. Then yeah, so this year, of course, was first year with the Chase as well. Eli Johnson, he had a big win, Walks Glen. That was his first career win. I remember this race. I think it came down to me and him and maybe Marcus Ambrose in this race. We also had debut Road America, Caleb Campbell won Road America. Joey Logano got his only career win in the series. So Logano was decent till 2015 when all that BS happened. And yeah, he did end up winning a race. Kansas Raceway, Austin Camp got his first career win. I remember this Kansas race. What's funny to me though is how I had it later in season, like normal Kansas race, and I had it right with Kentucky too. Avery Fowler got her lone win this year. Actually, got there being a 3-win first year driver, nearly winning the championship. Yeah. So then Caleb Campbell went 3 in a row, winning Atlanta. Right there before we get to the Chase here, and I think Marcus Ambrose wins the last race for the Chase in this season. I remember this race too because something funny I did is when I did the race for the Chase Eliminate to who made the Chase, I think I did something weird with the points where I only had the top 21 cars run the final 10 weeks of the season. And I'm pretty sure in the points, yeah, I actually have 22 cars in the points here. So yeah, so Jimmy Johnson over the Chase with a win. Caleb Campbell won at Iowa. I did have Iowa on the season. I think you probably saw in 2030 as well. I remember Kyle Busch winning Charlotte here to make it to the top 12. Lily Adams, Brett Campbell, Caleb Campbell won in the round of 12 to make a round of 8. And yeah, then Caleb won Martinsville, Madison won Texas Macon, and Eli Johnson pulled off a win at Phoenix to make the Final Four. Caleb Campbell did ultimately win out the championship with a 13-win season in 2014. This is always the season that's looked back as probably the most dominant season Caleb Campbell had. And of course, you'll see in these first year-long format seasons, Caleb, of course, had the most wins because it was a younger version of me. I'm like, hey, if I don't win a lot of races, I pretty much suck this season. Even everyone else won like 2 or 3 times on the season. Looking back at it too, it's kind of like, man, this was the younger me being like, oh, I want to make myself win every single race I can. But yeah. So funny enough, in this championship race too, Caleb did almost blow this championship to Madison Yates. Madison was leading late in this finale, and Caleb had to beat her out in the race to win the championship. Jimmy Johnson, Eli Johnson, they were in that Final Four, of course. Eli was the first official Rookie of the Year in these series based on how I did them for the history and all this. Brett Campbell, Jeff Gordon, Lily Adams, Matt Kenseth had them the Elite Eight to be eliminated. Kyle Busch, Dale Jr., Tony Stewart, Kurt Busch eliminated round 12. D'Aver Fowler, Joey Logano, Austin Camp, Marcus Ambrose. So 16 different winners on season 2, funny enough. And yeah, they all made the chase, and this is kind of how they were eliminated too. So I basically had them kind of in the same group of 4, and I kind of guessed who was probably the best driver of the year. I remember Brett being good. Brett could have been 7th in this year, but I don't fully remember, so I put him in 5th here among this group. And Jeff Gordon was still pretty decent, despite winning one race. Where did Jeff Gordon get that one win? Actually, I want to look at that real fast. Wherever it happened. Oh, it was Iowa. Okay, I remember him winning. I thought he won Iowa in his final year, not in 2014. When I was doing this, actually a couple days ago. So then 2015. So 2015, there's actually a pretty funny story for why I have Brett Campbell and Duncan Zico Morris in parentheses here. Also, you have newer drivers this year. Travis Pastrana was a rookie in this series. Yes, Travis Pastrana did run in the series. Harley Thomas, she was another driver I added on along. I'll go over in the driver video added on in this year. And fun fact, I actually had Chase Elliott make his debut 1 year early. Originally, this was the number 93 car. It was my messed up version of the Amico scheme, which I do have a better version of it now. But yeah, I had Chase Elliott drive the number 93. Said for this, I put in 94 because it would have made more sense with Bill Elliott. Honestly, in real life, I did have this 94 car race in the seasons, but I don't remember the drivers before 2017. I didn't even include 2017 driver in here, which was actually Alex Bowman in that group. Yeah, so Chase Elliott, Howard Thomas, Travis Pastrana would be all 3 of the rookies on the season. And fun fact, Chase Elliott won Atlanta. I'm pretty sure he beat me out for that Atlanta win. And he also got Dixieland Raceway's debut to the Cup Series. So Dixieland, that track was made in 2013, but didn't really get to debut till 2015 in the Cup Series. And fun fact too, with this first race at Daytona, I actually remember doing this race because this was actually the first time I made a YouTube video. So I made a video for this race, but I did this on the iPhone, my old iPhone. And fun fact, that phone, or iPhones really suck when you're trying to upload long YouTube videos. Oh, well, back then they did on YouTube. So I really never got the video up on YouTube. One of the duels did make it. I'm pretty sure it was the same duel that Kyle Larson wrecked into that I made a joke about something he said about hating Daytona or something like that. Then, yeah, so I think that's about it there. I remember this Darlington race, Madison Gates winning that. Yeah, and really, just 2015 was kind of weird. I remember Harley winning this Pocono race because it was her first career win. I remember his Las Vegas race too because this car, this 88 car, I got for my birthday from my aunt. She sent it to me through the mail, and yeah, I got it around my 13th birthday, and it was the nationwide scheme, it's Dale Jr.'s nationwide scheme for 2015. And I remember him pulling off the win that car. I thought it was pretty cool he won there at Las Vegas. And fun fact, I actually sent my aunt a picture of the car when he won Vegas, saying, "Oh yeah, look at the car he got me, won a race." And then so we get to Richmond. So Brett Campbell won his race in Michigan. However, at Richmond, so here's another fun fact. I did not do Richmond correctly back in the day. I thought Richmond was a super speedway style track that the start finish line was coming out of turn number 4. So in this Richmond race, Brett Campbell did a worse version of Austin Dillon's Daytona catch fence crash to where he actually got injured. So Brett Campbell actually missed out the rest of the season, despite winning Michigan, and would have made the chase as well. So yeah, but Denny Hamlin, I forgot Denny Hamlin even won that race because of that crash that happened in that race. But yeah, so Brett Campbell going to miss that season. That's partially the reason why too Brett didn't run in the BMR era, because he actually retired in 2016 after the injury crash, and he also did miss 2 races 2016, but he was able to make the chase that season. But yeah, so then you start with Thunder Raceway, and Avery Fowler actually missed the chase in the season. However, she pulled off the win at Thunder. Caleb won Kansas, Dixon went to Harley Thomas, then Dover went to Jimmy John, Charlotte went to Caleb Campbell, and Travis Pastrana, who wasn't even in the chase, won at Talladega. We had 3 upset winners in a row. So Pastrana at Talladega, this was a pretty crazy race that he won too. I remember doing this race. Martinsville, I remember doing this one as well at my dad's house. It was a long 50-lap race, and I think Ezekiel Morris, he ran down the leaders from 5th place or something, and then won the race. And I mean, he won it too. He pulled away from everybody in that race to win it. That was his first Cup win. Of course, he went on to run in the Truck Series and ultimately won 2016 title. Didn't run full-time Cup 2016. Duncan Patil actually ran full-time Cup 2016. I don't know why I chose Duncan over Ezekiel at that time when Ezekiel won a race in the Cup Series. Then at Texas, Austin Camp got a big win. I think he missed the chase too in the season, so that was a big win for him. Cale Campbell won Phoenix, and Mark Truex Jr. did win the finale. So this Final Four was actually Caleb Campbell, Jeff Gordon, Harley Thomas, and Jimmy Johnson. Harley was Rookie of the Year, and Caleb actually beat out Jeff Gordon in his final race, and I think they finished like third and fourth in this finale. So yeah, Caleb had to beat out Jeff Gordon in his final race to win the championship in 2015. I remember doing this race, and fun fact, when I was going through photos to make the thumbnail for this, I knew I had old photos from these seasons, or probably from these seasons that the thumbnail's going to be in. I actually have a photo of this Final Four before the race happened. And the cars that were used, the 46 was a blue Mustang. The 24 was actually Gordon's DuPont COT diecast ad, the older one. Harley Thomas, she actually had the 32, the White Rain hair care car. That was the car I always used for the 32 car back in the day. And then the 40 Jimmy Johnson, I think he had one of his Lowe's cars, maybe the white one in the photo. Dale Jr., I gave him 5th in the points here in the season. Madison 8th. I remember being eliminated in the Elite 8 in the season. Then Tony Stewart and Kyle Busch were in the Elite 8 as well. In 2015, Lily Adams, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, then Mark Truex Jr., Case King, Eli Johnson, Marcus Ambrose, and like I say, yeah, Bryce Campbell. Since he did have the injury crash, he would have made the chase without that injury. So since he had to crash, I figured I pulled the third team out of the chase, gave him 17th in the points, and then yeah, there's Morris's win. Kenseth, Kurt Busch, and Kyle Larson are all winless right there in top 20. There's Avery and Austin, and yeah, Travis Pastrana was last in the points. I scored him last in the points, and he still won a race too as a rookie in this season. So then 2016, this was actually the first year I got into YouTube with this series. I actually did this series first before anything else. I did like a race review style series. This series was in it. Some of the road racing series races were in it. The truck series season was in it for 2016. Brett did run all but 2 races that Jake Hoover ran. And there is actually a reason why I mentioned too Jake Hoover being in that car. Avery Fowler moves into 9. Kyle Larson finally into 42. Let's see. Ezekiel Morris, he actually ran part-time in 27 before going full-time in Cup. Anthony Drew, he was actually a rookie, another driver I brought in back 2016 and I forgot about. Anais Munoz. So yeah, she ran full-time here, full-time in the Road Race Series, of course. If you saw the road racing history video, you know she ultimately ended up winning that championship. Then yeah, Mackenzie Stapp, she was another driver who was added on the season. Of course, you know that she won a few races as well in the Arby's Cup Series. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jr.'s concussion did happen in this series. And I actually had Jake Hoover and Ezekiel Morris running for him. But once again, Jake is actually marked in these 2 cars for a certain reason you'll see here in a second. So actually, the thumbnail for this video may or may not have been actually the finish to this Daytona 500. Caleb Campbell beat out Ezekiel Morris and Duncan Patel for the Daytona 500. Madison Hayes won Atlanta. I want to say the 2 weeks before my dad's mom died. This was actually the second to last race I did at my dad's mom's house around when she passed away. Denny Hamlin actually won the Phoenix race at the day of my grandmother's funeral. And fun fact, me and Eli Johnson, of course, really emotional about my grandmother passing away. Eli Johnson nearly won this race in emotions over Denny Hamlin, but yeah, Hamlin beat him out at the end of that one. Honestly, I should have had Eli win that race back in 2016. Mackenzie Stapp, she pulled off a big win at Martinsville out of nowhere. Doug Patel got his first career win at Talladega as a rookie in the Cup Series. And yeah, Camp got a big win at Kansas and again in this season. And this Daytona race was the last race not on YouTube before I went doing YouTube. I started with Kentucky where Brett Campbell had a big win. But yeah, so Dale Jr. in this Daytona race, this is actually the first race where Caleb Campbell had a flip. I remember it was a rain race at Daytona. The whole grass was wet on the infield. Caleb got spun coming to the checkers. And I think the car just caught in the grass in a certain way where he flipped. Not like Ryan Preece's 2023 flip. It was kind of just like a small flip or a couple barrel rolls in the grass. Probably like 3 to 6 barrel rolls. I don't remember how many exactly. But yeah, Caleb had a big wreck there. That was pretty crazy. Anais Munoz got a big one at Road America. So this was Jake Hoover's debut race in the Cup Series. It was Caleb Campbell versus Jake Hoover versus Anais Munoz for the win. Ultimately, at the end, I think me and Anais made contact coming to the checkers. Jake Hoover ran into me. Jake could have probably won this race, but he ran into me. Had damage on 3 car, but he still was running up to Anais in this race. I still managed to get third too after wrecking in North Wilkesboro. This was actually a race of me versus Jake Hoover. The reason why Brett missed these 2 races and Jake was in the 3, because Brett actually stepped away for 2 weeks while he had surgery to basically get like stuff fixed after that wreck back in 2015. But yeah, North Wilkesboro, Jake Hoover got a big win here as a part-timer in the field. And I'm pretty sure a little bit after this was when I announced he actually would be driving the 41 for 2017. Yeah, I definitely thought about putting Jacob there, and then Ezekiel Morris won Bristol the next week, and they both ended up being promoted to the Cup Series after those wins. Kyle Busch is actually pretty funny in at Michigan. This Atlanta one. This was really one of the first few races at Atlanta where the outside lane was used by Caleb Campbell to win a race. Caleb did it Ezekiel in the Truck Series 2016. He did it to Jake Hoover in 2016 in the Cup Series to win Atlanta. Richmond, Duncan Patel did end up season. This was actually the real Richmond now, so it wasn't the weird plate racy version one. Thunder Raceway, Kyle Larson won. This was actually the first real rain weekend race. Kyle Larson pulled that one off at Thunder. I remember doing that race. Then Brett Campbell got what was, quote, his final career win at Dover in 2016. I remember this race. It was a very, very big one that he won. Actually, it was one of the rare times where Caleb did wreck. And I remember Caleb wrecking in this one as well. And I think where's any other races to really kind of mark out? Pocono. This was actually a win by Massey Yates, but this race is more remembered for a fight between me and Joey Logano. I was mad at Logano won the Athletic Cup Series championship. Like, I feel like it was rigged for him to win by yours truly, the one that runs the Athletic Cup Series. So I got into a fight with Joey Logano because he decided to be all cocky and nearly wreck everybody. And I basically got to successfully do what Kyle Busch did better. And yeah, punch him in the face on pit road. It was actually a pretty funny fight. I remember doing that. Martinsville, Jake Hoover pulled off a big win as a part-timer there at the end of the season. And this is actually a little bit rewritten here. I actually have Massey Yates winning Phoenix in Homestead. Actually, I re-reviewed the finale photo that I had because it was actually a crazy 3-hour finish in the dark because my dad didn't like having the lights on at night, watching TV. And yeah, so you really weren't able to see the finish here at Homestead in this season. But it was actually proven later on that Massey Yates beat out Duncan Patel at the end of this race to get her first career championship. So it was a pretty big. This definitely would have been a pretty big championship back in 2016. I think a lot more appreciated one than I guess Duncan Butel's reaction to when he was supposed to win it. I remember his reaction. It was pretty bad, pretty dumb, not good. But yeah, Massey Yates should have won that championship. So yeah, Yates, Butel, Campbell, Kyle Busch were all in the Final Four season. Kyle Busch kind of forgotten there because the 3-wide finish between them. Tony Stewart, I don't know why I gave Stewart and Anthony Drew 5th and 6th in the points here. Kind of weird to me there. There's kind of everybody else here. In 2016, and Mackenzie Taft, she was actually a rookie here, and she was in the chase too, of course. And Anais, I thought she had a better points finish. She was in the Elite 8, and I don't know why. She kind of fell flat here at the end of the season for some reason. There's everybody else here in the points. Avery Fowler's dead last. This is kind of why she went to go run the Truck Series, my team in 2017. So in 2017, I actually had where RCR forced Austin Dillon to be the driver of the 3-car, and let me just say he was pretty horrendous in it. Andre Crockett ran a first-year Cup. Jordan Venza. So Jordan Venza went on to actually replace Tony Stewart. It was actually something funny I decided to do because I didn't really want to put Clint Boyer in the car at the time. Chris Buescher, he went to 16 instead of Travis Pastrana now. Ezekiel Morris, of course, in the Cup Series. Jake Hoover in the 41 in the Cup Series. And that's really about it for all that roster. Of course, Dale Jr. was in his final year. And this was, of course, the last full year I did back in the day. So 2018, I don't really know a lot of the plans. I will kind of say that there is a version of 2018 with most of the real life Cup drivers in that year, plus some of the add-ons. I kept some of the drivers I kept around, like myself, Jake, Duncan, that were still winning that year. I have a version for 2018, 19, and 20 that I did, but I didn't want to add them into this list for all the racing because it was all like fully sent through, not like ran through throughout the year. So I didn't really want to include it into this video or in the series at all in general for all the wins. But yeah, Jake Hoover won Daytona 500. I remember this race. CCM, this is actually when Kel Campbell Motorsports started running instead of Ben Campbell Racing. They won the first 3 races of the year with Jake, Duncan, and Ezekiel. And Kel Campbell got a big one at Auto Club. This Mars race, Jimmy Johnson, I remember it being weird because I did like a 2-part video in 2 different days. This Talladega race. So this is actually a racer people don't realize that BK Racing pulled off an upset win here at Talladega. So I remember this race. Actually, David Reagan was consistently in the top 10 in the season. So when we went to Talladega early in the season, Reagan was consistently running about top 10, top 12. He pulled off his win at Talladega. I thought it was pretty cool. He won it in the 23 car, but yeah, he was an upsetter there. Adele Jr. did win his final year. He won Pocono, and I want to say Kentucky was the last race I made on YouTube before I stopped doing the series, and I fully went with the Non-Surgery Fantasy League, which will be one of the series I go over in the next part, the next section for the B Mart era. Yeah, this Dixieland race, I forgot to mention 2016 Pocono and this Dixieland race. These were the first two races that Kel Campbell legit won on his birthday. Yeah, so those two races were one on Kale's birthday. Actually, maybe the Truck Series one at Pocono was one on Kale's birthday. I don't fully remember which one exactly it was supposed to be. But, yeah, that's another fun fact there. So the rest of 2017, I kind of guesstimated who would have won what race at the end of this year. And ultimately, Jake Hoover would win out the championship and be the first rookie champion as well. And Cale Campbell was runner-up to him at Homestead. Kyle Busch was third and Duncan Patel fourth. Kyle Busch, he's actually probably going to be known as one of the best drivers when I'm done with all these series to not win a championship, because I think he had up to 27 wins when I calculated the wins the other last night. Actually, might be at 24. But this is actually also the last series season where I had the NASCAR based drivers as well, by the way. So I guess you can kind of tell that this will be the last season where they would be. Jimmy Johnson, 4 wins and 5th in the points. Eagle Morris, Chase Elliott, Matthews had the Elite 8. I actually had Jordan Vincent on his moves making the chase and getting to the round of 12, but not really making it into the Elite 8 in this year. Matt Kenseth got up there. Dale Jr.'s final year ended up 12, probably better than where he was in real life. The David Reagan, the Cinderella story ended as he barely missed a round of 12 back in 2017. Denny Hamlin, he was kind of not there after winning. Harley Thomas and AJ Allmendinger got a big win. Eli Johnson got a big win too, a drought-breaking win, but still didn't make the chase that year. Andra Crockett, she just hadn't missed the chase too, behind Onyx and Jordan, by the way, so she was right there 17th. Truex, Harvick, then all these other guys here. And I know, like, Truex, Harvick, Kurt Busch, like, a lot behind the points around 20th. The only reason why that happened a lot is because back in this series, it was kind of just like, it's just going to either be like, either some people I bring are going to do well, or the NASCAR drivers are going to do well, or either way, some of them are going to probably not do well either, and it seemed like mostly some of the NASCAR drivers were not doing well at the time of all this stuff going on. Also, another story I'll go over too, like mainly Lily Adams, these guys. So Michael Waltrip Racing have shutting down. This was the 66 and 56 car for MWR. So they didn't really get to run well the end of the year there in 2017. And then, yeah, Lily Adams, there's another reason why she was dead last in the series after being decent for the first few years in the field. So then we get to 2022, and this is actually I knew this was going to be a very long part. So 2022, this is the first year I did, basically with this new YouTube channel and everything. So I kept the same roster for the year as well. So there's a lot of rookies as well. Of course, basically all the CRL drivers you've seen and some of the BMR drivers too that are not under the rosters of the CRL series. So these seasons you kind of already know about. Yeah, Cale Campbell won Daytona 500, getting, I think, his second Daytona win officially here. And, yeah, of course, Jay Turner pulling out the championship over Jake Hoover here. Cale Campbell, Jet Ski, Carlema, Will Bounce, Bootel. Brady C, Brett Campbell, Nick Rice, top 10 in the points here. And there's everybody else in the points here for where they finished. And 2023, the most recent year, I actually did the roster I was going to keep for the rest of the season, which wasn't really great. But we had Jalen Bales, Jalen Turner, Connor Jacklin, your 3 rookies. It was crazy. So I think I stopped after Talladega, but I did I ran these last few races without telling anybody. So Caleb did win Bristol to lock up the championship. Sonoma was won by Eli Johnson. Atlanta won by Jace Turner. Caleb won by Jalen Bales. But here's the thing. Talladega, since Keelan Harvick originally won this race, I didn't give Keelan the win. Jalen Bales was the best finishing driver to pick up this win. And she actually had a 5-win rookie season behind Cale Campbell. So she had a really great season. However, Cale Campbell was about 2 times better than Jalen, unfortunately. So, yeah, Jalen Bales had a really great year, though, in his first year. And although I'm not doing a 2024 season, I do think Jalen Bales is going to be a very good driver in the future whenever she does come back in the series in the future. So I know this is a very long part here. I do apologize for that, but I figured this is going to be a lot more talking story point wise back in the day too with some things. So here's basically all the wins here. So let's see. 42 drivers won in the series here. Cale Campbell, obviously the most with 56 wins. Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson both had 14 apiece. Jake Cooper, Massey Hayes, 13 and 12. They were two of the other Cup champions along with Caleb, actually. Jace Turner champion as well with eight wins. So they all get to be added in the overall win list. And the plan is to actually reveal that win list after all these loss series are done. Because I still got to do those win lists. And I also got to include the current CRL win list at the point wherever I am in the current season. Plus, in the future season as well, if I'm not done into newer seasons as well, added onto the series. Yeah, Lee has Avery Fowler all won 5 races. Joe Mills got her first 5 wins, and yeah, really not a lot of things to say that really stick out here in this whole video here. And of course, there's your 4 champions. So only 4 champions. And fun fact, I'll go spoil this too. I have actually already made the list for every champion in all the series for all. And at the end of it, I'm pretty sure 2023 ended up being the 41st overall season. And I'll go say this. Caleb Campbell does have the most career championships. Second place is Jake Cooper. This is actually a tie with 2 apiece for a few drivers. And then there are 25 total champions. There are a lot of one-time champions. I'll go say that right now. But yeah, so I'll do it here. Probably the longest video for this series here by a wide margin until I get to the Non-Searching Fantasy League stuff and all that stuff when I get there. But anyway, this does basically end off the whole first section of seasons in the history of basically my league racing. Before basically this channel, I would say, like I said, I'll do a part 5. Maybe I could do it tomorrow before work, where I'll talk about all the lost drivers and everything like that. I will need to make the list real quick tonight to really get the list together. Or I'll wait for another day coming up this next week to do that. Then get to start the BMR era. The plan with the BMR era videos, I'm actually going to do 3 of the series at once to go over 4 seasons. The 2 short track series seasons, the truck series season, and the ARCA season I did back in 2021. Then like the Chance Xfinity series will be all together, the Gen 4 series, and the Cup series will be all together for those seasons. And I'll kind of end out this entire series here for all these videos. And at the end of it, I will have the full win list together for my league history. And yeah, I already have some ideas of what it might look like, who the top driver is going to be. But yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see down the road. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you did watch the video all the way through, just going over all these drivers here from back in the day. And yeah, I do appreciate you did watch the video all the way as well, because I know this is probably just a video that no one really would care about seeing. But, you know, it's just very cool to look at, very cool to look back at as well. And I mean, also just go back and get all this stuff kind of put down. So I kind of know what went on back in the day, and I guess just looking at it. Anyway, thank you for watching. It's Caleb League signing out, and I'll see y'all next time.